Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Today, we are announcing the Toronto results of Project Maverick, a province-wide collaboration to locate and charge those exploiting children online. As we heard today from the O.P.P, a total of 428 charges were laid against 107 people as part of this project, which involved 27 policing partners, along with government and community agencies. Detective Sergeant Barb of our Internet Child and Exploitation section will be providing details about Toronto's results in just a moment. But first, I'd like to make a few comments. I would like to acknowledge our dedicated investigators, analysts, and digital forensic technicians who work tirelessly to hold those sexually exploiting children online accountable. But they can't accomplish this extremely difficult task on their own. Online sexual offenses don't have any borders and go well beyond our jurisdiction. The internet and rapid growth of technology have given predators the opportunity to exploit children anywhere in the world. And unfortunately, the numbers continue to grow. Through the provincial strategy, we are working together with our partners to do everything we can to ensure our children, while online, are kept safe. I would also like to thank the many law enforcement and government agencies that helped make Project Maverick a huge success, along with the many community partners that offer the victims and others affected by these terrible crimes much needed follow-up support. The Toronto Police Service is committed to this ongoing coordinated approach to protect our children while online, and I'll turn it over to Detective Sergeant Barb.
Thank you, Staff MacIntyre. First, I would like to acknowledge and thank the members of our team for their commitment and tireless efforts on Project Maverick and on the incredible work they do every single day to protect children. I'm very proud of what we accomplished in just 1 month in collaboration with members of the provincial strategy. Here in Toronto, the I.C.E section conducted 24 criminal code search warrants over 20 days. We arrested 23 people and laid 96 criminal code charges during the month of October. These offenses include the possession, accessing, importing, distribution, and the making of child pornography, luring a person under 16, invitation to sexual touching, sexual assault, sexual interference, and failing to comply with court order. Our investigators seized 131 devices containing horrific images and videos of child sexual abuse material, which now must be forensically examined. Because of this diligent work, we were able to identify 22 victims during Project Maverick, as well as 10 children were safeguarded. Through projects like these, we are able to work together, crossing borders and jurisdictions, not only provincially, but globally as well. In one instance, members of the Toronto Police Service, with the assistance of our international partners, identified a person of interest on the dark web who was planning on kidnapping and abusing young children. TPS and O.P.P members investigated the information and were able to identify the accused and his location. A team consisting of both TPS and O.P.P investigators traveled to a remote northern Ontario town, executed 2 search warrants, and made an arrest. This is just one example of how we rely on collaboration with our partners well beyond the Toronto borders. Our global offenders know no borders, and I.C.E investigators globally work together to capture these child predators. We all have a role to play in protecting children. By reporting, educating, and remaining vigilant, we can work together to eliminate these crimes. I would also like to take this opportunity to highlight the issue of sextortion and self-exploitation among teens and children. Sextortion occurs when an individual meets victims on social media platforms. The offender gets the victims to share sexual images or videos with them. The threats are made, and if they do not provide more sexual content or some form of payment. Sextortions have increased dramatically around the globe in the past few years. Recently, we've seen a shift to an increase in the number of young teenage boys being targeted. Self-exploitation is when young children access social platforms and either intentionally or inadvertently post an image or a video of themselves. We are seeing this issue with children as young as 4 years old who may have access to their own or an adult's device. It's important for parents and caregivers to educate older children and limit the access younger children have to devices and social media. If you come across any child sexual abuse material on the internet, or feel you or someone you know is the victim of a sextortion, please contact your local police or submit a report on cybertip.ca. This website is operated by our colleagues at the Canadian Centre for Child Protection. You can also report anonymously through Crime Stoppers, or if it's an emergency, please call 911. We also want members of the public to know that there are resources available for anyone who uses child sexual abuse material online or is at a risk of offending sexually against a child. The Canadian Centre for Mental Health and Addiction provides more information through a program called the Talking for Change. It is the first program of its kind in Canada for adults concerned about their risk to children. Lastly, I.C.E investigators globally hope the world may be a better place because we made a difference in the life of a child. I will now take questions.
First off, thank you for such important work that you and your officers do. How do your officers cope with these unimaginable images that they see? And what advice could you give the parents who may be concerned about something like this happening to their children?
We're very fortunate in Toronto. We have an excellent wellness program for our officers. We do have access to our psychiatrists, and we go twice a year and speak to to our doctors. We also talk amongst ourselves and provide anything anybody needs. If they have any issues, they can feel free to come to their supervisors. As for the parents, I think it's really important for parents to have good, open communication with their children so that if their children do get into a situation online, they can come to them and ask for help.
Detective Sergeant, it's Catherine McDonald from Global. You talked about this investigation that you were involved in with this darknet offender. Can you just give us a little bit more information about how I know that you have these undercover officers who pretend to be children online. What was this man allegedly saying to this undercover officer that led you to believe that he was going to be planning to kidnap and then sexually exploit or abuse this child?
This is an ongoing investigation. We're it hasn't even got before the courts, so I can't speak to any specifics in this investigation. I apologize.
Can you say where he was arrested? I gather his name is on the list, or is he on the list?
I don't know if his name is on the list. His information is on the list. He was arrested in a town in a remote village in northern Ontario.
And can you tell us any more about if any of the people that you've arrested during this project were known to you before? Are there any repeat offenders here?
Yes, we do have repeat offenders in the group that we arrested.
And then for you as investigators, I've met many of you over the years, how difficult is that to see that these people that you've arrested and taken before the courts before are back online continuing with this terrible crime?
It's incredibly difficult, but we work diligently to arrest, charge, and put them before the courts, and then it's out of our hands. We just keep on doing what we do.
But are you shocked when you realize who these people are? I mean, some of these names must be coming up, and you must go, oh my God, we've already seen this name in the past.
I can't say that I'm shocked.
You might understand this is a 1-month snapshot
Yes.
of October. Was there a blitz of some kind, or is this typically going to be the same thing in November, December, January, that's the same amount of people arrested?
No, it was a blitz. It was a month targeted by the provincial strategy to show what we do on a daily basis, but we certainly do this every week. Every day we're out there arresting people.
This was Ontario-wide?
It was. It was all the members of the provincial strategy. There are 27 services that take part in the strategy.
Can you talk about the children that you saved here in Toronto? You said 10 victims were safeguarded. What does that mean?
I'll give you the definition of safeguarding. Safeguarding refers to protecting children who are in scenarios where there is an increased risk of exploitation. For example, if a parent of a child is charged for possessing child pornography, but there is no evidence that they harmed their own child, the child and family are provided additional support to ensure the child will not be exploited in the future. Our partners such as Children's Aid, Victim Services, the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, the Boost, provide education, support, and access to those families.
So you don't necessarily take them out of the homes?
Not necessarily, no.
Talk about that, a little bit about how horrific this is. What sort of, how much you explain the images, but what sort of things are we dealing with here? How old?
We are dealing with the sexual abuse of children from infancy to adulthood.
And is it mostly family related?
I can't speak to that. I can't speak to that, sorry, no.
Okay, one more question.
You know, you talk about safeguarding your children. I myself have young children. I know they're fascinated with iPhones and iPads. They take selfies all the time. How does one educate a little girl, like in my case, I have girls who are 7 and 9. Constantly I'm finding pictures on my phone. You know, they buy crop tops, they want to wear these things despite their mother vehemently saying no. How do I protect my child when I can't be watching them all the time and they have access to these devices?
We recommend that parents have control over the devices in one way, shape, or form. The children shouldn't have the devices in their bedrooms. They shouldn't have them in the washroom. There should be some sort of supervision, if possible, with the devices, and perhaps at night those devices are taken from the kids and locked up overnight. There is great resources at the center, the Canadian Centre for Child Protection. If you go on to their website, they provide a lot of advice when it comes to the protection for our children.
And you talk about this whole...
That was the last question. Thank you everyone for joining us today.